Otro video para ti hoy. Este es Aaron con ANETcomputers.com. Received another question on this website whereby I answer computer and technology questions for supplemental income. I would mention that specific website, but I don't trust any corporation on this planet after getting fucked over by Malwarebytes. I was an affiliate of theirs and they basically bent me over and sodomized me and filed an illegal copyright claim. And they violated the DMCA. Connecting two monitors to a Windows 10 computer. That's basically what this video is going to involve. So here's the question. Hi, I have a laptop and a separate monitor. How can I use both screens without seeing same on both? I am a tax preparer. I would like to use one for the tax software and the other to use the internet. Well, income taxes in America are not constitutional. And that's a fact. Moving on. It was only supposed to tax foreign corporation income. Moving on. So they had a laptop running Windows 10. I know the word running bothers you. It doesn't bother me. Language doesn't bother me. I'm not a language Nazi. But if you prefer to reiterate that sentence by saying, I have a laptop with Windows 10 installed. Whatever floats your boat, you communist, socialist, language Nazi. Moving on. A laptop, a Hewlett-Packard laptop with Windows 10 installed. And they purchased an external, a separate LG monitor. Now, so they technically have a laptop. Computers, and with computers, the integrated LCD that laptops come with are basically observed and detected as a monitor. So to keep things simple, it may not suit your communist, socialist, language Nazi language, but you know, for the rest of us that aren't language Nazis and we're not anal retentive when it comes to language, I understand what the differences are. So a laptop's LCD, although it's not technically a separate, you know, monitor with a power connector and blah blah blah, and you have to connect a cable. But for computers aren't language Nazis, you know. Computers don't necessarily discriminate, although in America there's tons of racism and discrimination, and you know, I don't want to digress about that. So you have two displays. It's quite simple with Windows 10, and I will demonstrate instead of just, you know, blah 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 blah. Now I have full instructions written in my blog post that I link to in my website, at my website. You have to be careful with these language Nazis. Don't say in my website. You better use proper grammar, proper sentence structure every time, every sentence, every statement for 10 hours. If you're giving a seminar for 10 hours at my website with full abstract written text that you should be able to understand and follow. And at the very end of this blog post, I even gave a few tips on problem resolution, troubleshooting. But I'll save that for last. So let me demonstrate. So it's really not that difficult. So you get to your desktop and you right click on your desktop and you click on display settings. It'll take you to display. Now if you scroll down, you will notice multiple displays. Now, I have two monitors. They're separate. Each monitor has a power cable. Each monitor has a separate video cable. So, but you can use these instructions if you have a laptop and a separate monitor, or you have, you know, two monitors and a desktop computer. Now laptops, do laptops come with multiple outputs? They might, but let's not make this too complicated. All you have to do is go down here to multiple displays. Now I'm not sure if I only had one monitor, would this be grayed out? Would it even show up? I'm not sure. I'm not going to disconnect. But make sure, let's quickly go over this. I would suggest that the first thing that you do is that you power on your monitors. Don't power on your computer yet, whether it's a laptop or desktop. It doesn't matter the operating system. Power on the monitors that you want to use. Plug them in, power them on, connect the video cables. Now, generally, when it comes to like technology like DisplayPort and HDMI, those are generally more robust, meaning they're more plug and play. Whereas the older school video connector technology like VGA and DVI, they're less plug and play. I would suggest that it doesn't really matter. Even the newer technology doesn't always work. I've noticed sometimes DisplayPort, you hook up a DisplayPort monitor, the computer doesn't detect it right away until you reboot. If you have any problems, power on the monitors first, plug in the video cables first, then power on the computer, and then let the operating system detect your monitors at boot. Then all you do is go in here and you just change. So extend these displays is what you want to have set if you want to use the monitor separately. As an example, in my blog post, and for this individual, since they claimed that they were a tax preparer, I'm not attacking them individually. I'm not attacking them. It's nothing personal. It's a fact that in the United States, income tax is not constitutional. But America is run by religious freaks and communist socialists, and to me it's a military dictatorship, and it's all about control. And in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act was passed, and so was the not constitutional income tax. Americans did not start a revolution back then, and therefore you suffer that consequences, and over 100 years later we still pay that stupid income tax. It's not personal. Extend these displays allows you to drag and drop. I don't have another camera to show you both monitors. One monitor, they're not parallel with each other, they're perpendicular. You should know what that word perpendicular means. It's not parallel. So one monitor is facing east to west, the other monitor is facing north and south, hence the term perpendicular. My main monitor I use for, let's use the example, surfing the internet, just being able to control Windows 10. I can see my startup menu. It's the default display. If I only had one monitor, it would still show up on the main display. It's actually a television. It's a 38-inch television, so you can hook up those large LCDs to computers and laptops. The second monitor I have is a 20, I think it's 22 inches, 20 or 22 inches. It's a Hewlett-Packard. It's a nice, it has a display port. It's not HDMI. It has a display port. That's my second monitor, and I have it set to extend these displays. What that means is that it doesn't clone it. Now, if you hit the drop-down arrow, there's other settings. Duplicate these displays. The word duplicate is self-explanatory. It will duplicate what I see on my main monitor on my second monitor, which is the HP 22-inch. I don't want that. I want to extend these displays, and that's exactly what this customer wanted. So to use their example, on the main display they can surf the internet and, you know, browse on H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or IRS.gov and go through the million IRS tax tables or whatever to their fancy. On the second monitor, they can drag their tax software. All you do is I can't really, yes, you see at the top, left click on whatever window you want to drag. Left click and hold down the left mouse button, and you notice how I'm dragging it. Right now I'm dragging it to another monitor, but you can't really tell because I can't videograph that. But you can kind of tell I'm moving it and I'm dragging it. So drag it to your other monitor. That's all you have to do. Once you get it to your other monitor, it may not be maximized, but you can maximize it or you can size it to however you want. But just drag and drop it to your other monitor. That's all you have to do. And it will remain permanent. Every time you reboot your computer, it should save those settings so that we'll just keep it simple. On the left-hand monitor is your control panel, and you can surf the internet, and you can tell Windows 10 what to do and be in full control when the National Spy Agency and Microsoft aren't spying on you or duping you by getting you to install updates that spy on you, but then lying to you and telling you that you have free choice and you have 100% control of the operating system that you bought from a billion-dollar fascist corporation that's embedded with a government military. And then on the right-hand side monitor, you've got your tax software where you're, preparing taxes for your customers. That's it. It's really not that complicated, but in the Microsoft world, even simple tasks like this can get convoluted and complex because they're a terrible communicating corporation. You can't go out to Microsoft.com and read a bunch of tutorials. Well, this is, no. They don't even publish a book, I don't think. Now, there are third-party publishers that you can buy books, showing you how to use Windows 10, and it's possible that this feature is in a book. But it's not like you can go to Microsoft.com. It's not like, but that's really not their job, I guess. Their job is to build operating systems with a back door so that the government military can spy on you. Now, if you were to choose this drop down, and then another thing you can do is you can change your main display. It's grayed out. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, you know why? Because it already is the main display. If I went to my other display and I right-clicked and I went into the display properties, if I was a betting man, I would say that make this my main display, would not be grayed out. I would place a checkbox there, then it would revert. Then that display would become my main display. That's where I could control Windows 10 and surf the internet. It would swap. It would be opposite. Now, if you notice here, you can duplicate this displays. What that does is that everything that I see on my main display, which is my left monitor, will duplicate to the right-hand monitor, which is the HP. Everything duplicates. The taskbar, everything on the screen is the exact same. It just, hence the word duplicate. Now, show only on one. I don't usually mess with those two. Let's not worry about those, but there are additional options. That's it. And if you get confused, you can click on display adapter. No, not there. Is that there? Oh, right here. Click on, you might have to click on detect, but I would say if you follow my instructions and you hook up your monitor with a laptop, power it on, and hook up the video cable, and then power on the laptop, or if you have a desktop computer with two monitors, I would say power them on first, hook them up via whatever video cables necessary, VGA, which are the blue, old school blue 9-pin, DVI, multiple pin, the white, HDMI, or DisplayPort. Then power on that computer. I would say you wouldn't probably have to click on detect. Oh, here's where some possible tips for troubleshooting if you can't get this to work. Don't get frustrated. Just take your time. Don't get emotional. I know especially American males are metrosexual now. They're very emotional. I don't understand. I get angry once in a while. That's about the only emotion I ever show. But you know what I'm saying? That to me is different, but I guess technically in the DSM, that mental illness manual, that psychology manual, I guess anger is an emotion, but whatever. That's about the only emotion I ever show, is when corporations like Malwarebytes fuck me over and file an illegal copyright claim and do not go through the proper legal avenues stipulated in the DCMA. So fuck Malwarebytes. All right. You can click identify, and what it will do, you should be able to see that. It will identify the monitors for you if you get confused. Right now, they are okay. They're correct. Number 1 and number 2. It only shows up for a few seconds. It shows the number on the monitor. So if you get confused, I have number 1 selected. You can also click on detect if for whatever reason none of the displays or monitors are getting detected. I'm not going to do that. They're already detected. Before I run, another thing you want to make certain of is that you have video card. Let's wait till the very end for that. Now, if you click on the number 2 display, these are the settings for your second monitor. And so you need to become aware of that, because you might be fucking around, janking around on the orientation, the resolution, and even the multiple displays, but you forgot which monitor you had selected, and now you swapped and everything's getting out of line. So just take your time, slow down. If you've never went through these process before, there's no reason to get emotional. I don't know why these fucking Americans are so emotional. I just don't understand it. And then number 2, you can change the settings. If you notice, this is correct. It's got the HP LCD monitor. That is number 2. Number 1, it's a television, and so that's probably why. And here's another tip. Sometimes you can download an INF file. You can Google, let's say you have an HP LA2205WG just like I do. You can Google that plus INF, and there might be an INF. INF stands for information. There might be a small little information file, which is kind of like a driver. It's similar to a driver. Although technically, I don't think technically it is, but whatever. It's just a file that has information about that piece of technology, that monitor, that your computer, that the operating system can use. That might help. You know, it might have additional information. It'll tell the operating system what resolution you can choose. As you notice, you can choose different resolution settings, the pixel rate, and you know what I'm saying. So that might be a potential troubleshooting tip that you could use. And then now that I am finished, and I need to run actually, is my final tip: troubleshooting. If you're having problems and you followed my blog post to a T, dotted your I's, crossed your T's, and even turned into a communist socialist language Nazi, and you read my blog and you were outraged by my grammar or lack thereof, make sure that you have proper video card drivers installed. You know what I'm saying? The built-in generic Microsoft drivers might not cut it. So I would wait until let's say you just bought a brand new computer, or well, a brand new computer should already have the manufacturer's video drivers. But let's say you're re-imaging your computer and hard drive crashed or whatever. You should see all the Windows 10 questions I get. Windows 10 is a nightmare. But nobody talks about that on YouTube. Everybody in the tech genre, they're all politically correct. So many of them are shills. They don't tell you what really goes on. To me, they're not honest. They don't criticize. On this website, which I would love to tell you the name of the website, but since I've been fucked over by more than one corporation in my lifetime, no. Just because I'm wearing an AVG t-shirt again, it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that AVG won't, bend me over and sodomize me in the future either. Somebody might find out that I mentioned their name in one of these videos, and they might not like that, and who knows, they might file some kind of claim against me. You never know anymore on YouTube. Back to Windows 10. This website where I earn supplemental income, which it's going to really help out. I'll be making way more money on that website than I will on YouTube. There are so many questions. Every day there are questions and problems with Windows 10 updates. I have one current customer with Windows 10 updates where they are still on 1703. And it doesn't matter what they do, the updates keep failing. It installs, it gets to a certain percentage, and then it reverts back. I mean, a total nightmare. Total nightmare. There's all kinds of problems with Windows 10 on this website. People going to the website seeking help for their Windows 10 problems. So video drivers, because you might be in a rush. Oh, you can't wait to get you just bought a brand new 40 inch 46 inch LCD television for $2,000, and you just can't wait to surf your pornography on the big screen with your Windows 10 and whichever porn website you surf. You just can't wait. Well, slow down, calm down, read the manual. Hook up the video cables first, then power on the computer. Make sure you got the video card drivers installed. Make sure that they are current. Make sure they don't have any problems. I would recommend you update them too. If you're having problems, I would say trying to connect to display. To me, chances are it could be your video drivers. If you followed everything I documented in this video, it should work. It's real easy. But sometimes it doesn't work. I would say a higher percentage chance it's the video drivers. And that's where you would troubleshoot. Adios!